Evan Dunstone, how are you?
Oh, g'day, Dom. I'm really good. How are you?
I would say good day back, but I wouldn't sound right saying it.
No, mate, you got to live here for the first 50 years to get it right.
Well, that means in 4 months I would be born there. Yeah, I turned 50 pretty soon here. I look like I'm 50. I'm wearing it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm staring the big 50 this year, so
Oh, are you? Well, so there you go. We're the same age.
that's it.
Perfect year to be born. Um, so I was referred to talk to you by one of our listeners, viewers, readers. Somebody sent me a note. I can't remember where now, but you're the director of a really cool show that's going on. And the reason I found out about you is because of these master classes you're running. We'll get to that in a second. But I'll just introduce you with your title for WoodDust, and then maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and how you come to be involved in the wood industry in general.
Yep.
So we've got Evan Dunstone from Australia with us today, and he's the director of the Australia International Timber and Wood Festival, which is affectionately known as WoodDust.
Thanks, Dom. Took us a long time to come up with WoodDust too. So I'm the director also of Dunstone Design. We make contemporary fine furniture and chairs. And, I've been knocking around the Australian scene for a while now. And I've got a mate, John Madden, who many years ago, he and I were sort of contemporaries. He was just coming out as a maker up on the north coast of Australia. And, he and I did a lot of exhibitions together in the early days. And then he moved into, I guess, the corporate side of woodwork and worked for a lot of machinery companies and Australian Wood Review magazine and a retailer called Carbotech, and he was the national marketing manager for Carbotech.
Yeah. And
he and I would get together over a beer at one of these big wood shows and then have a big complain about what was wrong with wood shows. And I said to him, mate, I've got a full-time gig. I've got, a workshop full of craftsmen. I haven't got time for a wood show. And I said to him, well, ring me up one day when you've quit Carbotech and you've got some time. And one day he rang me up. He said, I've quit Carbotech and I've got some time.
So and now you're up against it.
We had to put our money where our mouth was. So we developed WoodDust. And, it's just coming together really well. We're very excited.
Well, I had a look, and I'm from the outside of the industry looking in. I'm a business coach, and I work with wood shops all around the world on helping them improve operations and things like that. But like I said, I heard back from somebody saying this masterclass you put together is pretty. They're the 800-pound gorillas of the industry. That might be the wrong. Yeah. I haven't seen these gentlemen, so please don't tell them to take that wrong. But it's a star-studded cast of people in the masterclass.
Look, we were very lucky because with my background as a maker, I had a lot of relationships with craftsmen, and John's background in the sort of international tool game, for want of a better word, had a lot of relationships with, Veritas and Lie Nielsen and places like that. And so we sort of put our network together. And it's a bit like when you hold a party and you think, oh, look, we'll invite 50 people and maybe we'll get 30.
Yeah.
And everybody just said, wow, week in Australia, hell yeah. So, Tom Lie Nielsen's coming across. Fine Woodworking is a major sponsor and they're sending Nat Kenney across. Michael Fortune from Canada's coming across. He's one of my favourite makers. Andy Buck from the East Coast of America is coming across. It's going to be, Wally Wilson and Vic Tesolin from Veritas are coming out. And I'm lucky enough that my workshop, we've got 650 square metres, which is a fairly big workshop. And we can run a week of, 3 days of masterclasses. And we were trying to find a really nice balance. So, Michael Fortune's really technical. He's very artistic as well, but he's a very technical maker. And he's going to appeal to the really nerdy, how do you cut a tight wood dovetail kind of guy. And then Andy Buck is really sculptural and free and, thinking about form. And he's great technically, but he's not a technical maker in the way that... So we were trying to find balance. We're trying to say, hey, if you want to really understand technique, this is your guy. If you want to understand form, this is your guy. And then... people like, Matt Kenney is going to do a Kumiko course. God, I hope I got that right.
What
so
is
yeah,
that?
we're just trying
What's a Kumiko course? What are we talking
it's
about?
a Japanese framework.
Oh, the
So,
beautiful joints that they make with
yeah,
hand tools. Wow.
yeah, yeah. So what the festival is all about? It's a 5-day festival. We've got 3 days of masterclasses. We've got 2 nights of lectures. We've got the weekend tools and timber event. And on the Saturday night, in conjunction with the Bungendore Woodworks Gallery, we're having the biggest exhibition of fine woodworking in Australian history. So all the top makers from around the country will be exhibiting pieces. We've got people coming out from New Zealand. We've got people coming out from North America, Asia. And the whole idea of the festival is to have a really inclusive atmosphere. We want people who have really thin understanding of woodworking to be able to come out, have a great day, bring the family. We're having an axe throwing competition as well as demonstrations by, Tom Lie Nielsen.
Yeah.
So
You've got the whole
we're trying to
gamut
be
there.
a real festival, a bit of a knees up. We want people to come out and go, wow, that was fun, and we're trying to energize particularly that sort of 30-something age group to understand what it is to have a home workshop and just make. I don't care if you're a spoon carver. I don't care if you want to make wooden drums or fine furniture. We just love making. We want to share the love.
Yeah, that's great. I love the passion that goes along with this. And the maker community is spanning generations. It's all over the place. There's people that they just want to make things, the creative aspect of it. And it's such a wonderful industry. I can't tell you, I love the smell of, we call it sawdust. Apparently you call it wood dust down there. We call it revenue, you call it turnover, but that's okay. But I love the smell of sawdust. I love it, even though the hardest job I ever had was being a framing carpenter and cutting wood and holding up walls. Still love that smell.
It's just a classic material. I mean, it's a material that is endlessly fascinating. You don't need super cool tools to work it. You can work wood with some really basic stuff, or you can have a workshop full of the state-of-the-art kit. Yeah. It's a really inclusive material. And, I've been doing this a long time. I still get excited every time I open a pack of timber. Every time I open up a selection of boards and look in and go, oh, it's a really lovely board, Yeah. You'd think you'd get over it after 25 years, but I still, just love the material. Yeah. And I love the people who are woodworkers. There's not too many. You're going to have a certain type of headspace to be a woodworker, and it's hard to find a woodworker who's not a pretty interesting person.
Yeah. Well, you've got a luthier thing. I mean, that's, you talk about woodwork and people who make spoons, and you're doing axe throwing, which I guess is for people that make axe handles. I guess.
It's just a bit of fun, actually.
Yeah, no. Axe throwing is a huge amount of fun. Actually, one of my neighbors, his son makes axe handles, and with very basic tools. Right. But he loves wood. And when you see the axe handle he's made and he shows you his tools, it's amazing because you can buy these things for $15, but he makes them with love. Anyways, that's a side point. But you have luthiers here. I mean, you really have a wide. What's the luthier part?
Yeah. We really wanted to incorporate all facets of woodworking, and of course, musical instrument making is so wonderfully technical and interesting, and the end result is fantastic. So we thought, have the luthiers. We've got a stage set up. They can play their instruments. People can come in, see what is available. And my friend John, my partner in crime, John, is a keen guitarist, so he really wanted the musical instrument makers there. We just felt it was really important to have everybody talking to each other and being involved.
Well, it's another wood trade as well, isn't it? I mean, in a craft.
Absolutely.
Making guitars. Absolutely. Now, Evan, do you play any musical instruments?
I do, and I know this is a caricature, but I play the didgeridoo.
Well, I mean, I didn't put it out there, but what else would you play?
Of course.
I love it.
I used to work up north, and I got infected by the didgeridoo bug, and was a very keen didge player there for a while. I must say, in recent years, things are quietened off a bit, but
Yeah. Well, you'll pick it up again there. You'll pick it up.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, thank you very much for walking us through this. I mean, I think people are going to travel all across the world just to see you play the didgeridoo again. I might come, although I'm a little concerned in that our emails back and forth, you asked me to hold the apple, and I didn't know what that meant until you talked about the axe throwing competition. And so now I think I know what you meant, and I'm not doing it.
Come on, Dom.
I know what you're talking about, and I'm not falling for it. But listen, folks, this sounds like a pretty cool wood show with a really interesting set of learning around it, especially around the fine craftsmanship side. And that's a special, subset of this industry. So if you're interested, please visit. Actually, Evan, how do we find out more about the show?
Okay, so just go to the website, WoodDust Australia, all one word, .com. So wooddustaustralia.com is the website. The festival goes Wednesday, the 17th of October through to Sunday, the 21st. The masterclasses are all sold out, but there's a few things that are still happening in that space. So if you're in a position to come down, there's a lot happening for that 5-day block. And of course, the weekend out at the showgrounds and that night at the Woodworks Gallery is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, this sounds like a pretty cool event overall. Hopefully you have some pictures that you can share with us. I'd love to put them on the site and share them.
Sure.
If you send them through, I'll do that. And so that people who can't make it or are maybe thinking about going in the future, get a sense of what you've got going on there.
No worries.
All right. Well, thank you, Evan. Great talking to you. Have a great day. And for all of you listening, thank you so much for joining us here on cabinetmakerprofitsystem.com. Have a great one.
Good on you, Dom.
Bye-bye.